Testing, testing. There we go. We are up and we are running. Okay. So we will give it a few seconds for a couple more people to join. And then we will be live in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, let's roll. Hey everyone, I'm Ian Highfield. I want to thank you so much for joining this webinar. What are we going to cover today? Well, we are going to cover golf practice. How can you practice golf to make your swing changes stick and transfer to the golf course? That is simply it. Golf practice. When you leave this webinar, you will have a deeper understanding of what you need to plan, act on, and reflect on when you go to the golf range or the golf course with the goal of trying to get better at this amazing but also extremely frustrating game that we love. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to cover golf practice. How are we going to do it? Well, I'm going to talk a little bit. That's fortunate or unfortunately for you guys. But I'm also going to share a few slides. So I will be flicking from screen to screen. So please bear with me while I do that. My technological skills are slightly above average, but not beautifully slick yet. So there might be a little bit of bumbling around. But ultimately, I'm going to speak a bit. I'm going to share some slides and I'm going to share some videos as well. The slides that I'm going to share with you are slides that I normally present to PGA professionals and at clinics all over the globe. This presentation has been featured by the British PGA. It's been featured by the South African PGA. It's been shared in many other continents. It's gone to Asian key influencers. And people are taking this presentation, high-level golf coaches, very, very reputable golf coaches, taking the information, passing it on to their players and saying that their players are improving because of it. So we're going to take that information, bit of talking from me, and no questions until the end because we are on a strict time frame. But I will share my email and other ways you can contact me at the end. So that's what we're going to cover, golf practice, how we're going to do it, bit of me talking, some slides from my world-renowned presentation and information from the book that I've authored, Golf Practice, How to Practice Golf and Take Your Range Game to the Course, and then why. Why are we doing this? Well, ultimately, I've been there. I've been where you have. I was a collegiate level rugby player that failed to make that next grade. That was a very frustrating time for me. And I realized I didn't practice properly. The main reason that I failed on my quest to become a rugby player was practice effort and practice structure. I did play golf as a junior. I was pretty good. I won my state championships. After I finished playing collegiate rugby, I started up golf again. I played off 3 handicap pretty successfully. But again, I started to realize I wasn't getting the results that I desired because I didn't practice properly. Over the last decade, I have made it my life's mission to find out why I failed. Why did I fail to make that next grade? And then share that information with others so ultimately you cannot make the same mistakes I did. That's why I'm doing this. And hopefully that's why you're here, to get better at golf, have a deeper understanding and enjoy this amazing game. So I'm going to flick screens. I'm going to share my screen with you. If I click here, share, and then I'm going to open up this presentation. And we are going slide this bar to the bottom and slideshow, play from start. So you guys can see me. in the top corner. I'm now going to roll a video that is going to give you an insight into why your swing changes don't stick and why your best game does not transfer to the golf course. So there we have it. One of the key reasons that we don't get the results we desire is because of how we practice. Now, the study of practice in many other industries is nothing new. It's nothing new. In fact, it's even impacted history. During the Vietnamese War, US fighter planes were being shot down on a 1-to-1 ratio. Yes, a 1-to-1 ratio with the enemy plane. What the Navy and the military did was they reviewed this awful statistic and decided they needed to launch the Top Gun school. Now, we've all seen Top Gun the movie, or I'm going to assume most of you have seen Top Gun the movie. Well, it's based on this true story. Because the US fighter planes were being shot down at a ratio of 1-to-1, they looked into this awful statistic and they reviewed the way the fighter pilots were training. They reviewed the fighter pilots' practice. And the conclusions that they drew were that the training needed to be different. It needed to be more intense. So I'm going to play you this first screen here that will give you an insight into this.
Gentlemen, this is your first hop. The jets you are flying against are smaller, faster, and more maneuverable, just like the enemy MiGs. The clock is ticking, and as of now, we are keeping score.
I still got him. He's still back there. Come on, man. Just some of that pilot shit. Yeah, I got him. I've got about enough of this shit. When you hit the brakes, I'll fly right by.
Okay, you're mine.
Jesus Christ. See what you got now, Chester. Okay, man, let's turn the burn. Chester's dead.
So there we go. We see Maverick and Goose in their plane and the announcer at the start. You will be fighting against planes that are designed to represent enemy minks. You'll be flying at full speeds. You will be scored for your performance. That's what the Top Gun school injected into the pilot's training. They injected recreation and simulation of specific situations that those individuals would face in battle. so that they were ready for battle. Now, you saw Maverick in that training session say, I'll hit the brakes, he'll fly right by. That's something that he was learning in training. Now, take a break from the movie for a minute and think, what do you want from your golf? Do you want to be the longest driver in your foursome? Do you want to be the best putter? Do you want to be the best chipper? Do you want to shoot the lowest score? Do you want to have the best scoring average? What is it that you want from your golf? And then think, does your practice represent that? Are you practicing in an environment that requires a score, that requires you to deal with stress, that requires you to deal with different lies? Because now let's go back to the Top Gun. That's what the Top Gun school did. And remember, I said it was a 1-to-1 ratio of planes being shot down in the Vietnamese War. Well, guess what? That awful statistic shifted to 12 enemy planes for every one US plane, because they changed the way they practiced. They changed the way that they trained. Quickly, let's look at this video. Remember, what did Maverick do in training? I'll hit the brakes, he'll fly right by. Now, let's see him in battle after he graduated from the Top Gun school and the new revolutionary training program.
There's a big undertail. There's a big undertail. We got a problem here. We've only got one missile left.
Approaching 110 miles, sir.
God damn it.
I got him. He's right on the seat between their tails. You haven't lost him. He's still on it. What are you doing? You're slowing down. You're slowing down.
I'm bringing him in closer, Merlin.
You gotta do what? This is it, Maverick.
He'll fly right by.
Shit, he's gonna go on us. Gotta give up. Fire him.
So there we have it. There's a cool presentation that really shows the importance of how you train. It worked. It's worked in history. Reviewing how you practice for a specific event works.
Gentlemen,
So what we are going to do, because this is the likelihood, if you're frustrated on the golf course, if you're hitting the ball well on the range, but you can't seem to make it happen on the golf course, if you get stressed out when you're starting to shoot a good score, if you get nervous, if you get anxious when you're on the golf course, if you tense up, if you can hit it a long way on the range, but then you go with your friends and you seem to lose that distance. You can hit that nice draw on the range, but you seem to hit it out the neck or pull slices on the course. The reason is because your practice, just like the US Navy when they were losing planes on a ratio of 1-to-1, it wasn't representative of the real thing. Now, by making it representative of the real thing, we can do this, and the US Navy can change that statistic from 1-to-1 to 12 enemy planes to every one of theirs. So how we practice is extremely important. And here's a definition. We always in golf seem to talk about fixing. Hey, I'm fixed. I've got it. I've got the key. I'm fixed. Unfortunately, guys, there is no quick fix. If you want to get better at golf and enjoy performing to a higher level, which I'm sure you all do, you can only class a skill as learned when you can take it into different environments, i.e. from the range to the course, and retain it over time. Okay? And that's what we're going to look at today. That is what I am going to be helping you guys with. So we're going to end the show there. I'll stop my screen share just for now. And there we go. I'll come back to the big screen. So The reason I've done that is I just want to talk to you. Sorry. So the reason I've done that, I said this would get a little sticky. I just want to talk to you briefly about golf practice and really sort of two main things. When you set foot on the range, you need to understand, am I training to learn or am I training to perform? So if you want to master your golf swing, and you should be writing this down, guys, this is super important. We're getting into you now. I've laid the foundation. I've given you the story. You know what we're covering. You know how we're covering it. You know why I want to do this. Why do you want to do this? What pleasure aren't you getting? What frustrations are you feeling? You know what we're doing, how we're going to do it, and why. And now I'm starting to give you the information. History suggests that if you can revolutionize the way you practice, you will get different results. I am now giving you the information to revolutionize the way that you're going to practice. So when you walk onto the range, the first thing you're going to do, you're going to ask yourself, am I training to learn or am I training to perform? If you are training to learn, that is going to be making a swing change. If you are training to perform, that is going to be taking your golf swing into the performance arena, be it a challenge on the range, a challenge on the golf course, and you are going to be putting yourself under pressure and under stress. So, am I training to learn? Do I want to be changing my swing? Is that what I'm doing right now? Or am I training to perform? Am I gonna push those the work that I've been doing on my swing to the side? And am I now focused on getting it done? Am I playing a 9-hole challenge? Am I playing a game? Different lies, different types of shots. Everything is a different challenge. Because the likelihood is most of you are training to learn a lot of the time, but you're not training to perform. So you go on the range and you hit, and you'll be hitting off a flat lie. Maybe there's no target. Maybe it's to the same target. It might be a swing thought. But what happens is you get in rhythm. You get in this rhythm. You get in this flow. Hit, 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 hit. Now, most people can start to show the skills they desire in that environment because it's not representative of the golf course. It's not as challenging. There's very little space between each shot. There's very little variability in what you're doing, and therefore there's very little challenge. You might not even be keeping score. So when you're on the range and you're training to learn, very little space between each shot, very little variability, and very little challenge. Now, when you go onto the golf course and it's time to perform, there's lots of space between each shot. There's lots of variability between each shot, and it's very challenging. It's challenging, one, because the environment that we're playing in, the surrounding world, is very different and diverse. And two, our mind is different and diverse because now we're playing for score. There's pressure, outcome pressure. I want to shoot this score. I need to hold this putt. Whereas you don't have that in practice. So what we have to do, guys, and again, write this down. We have to firstly decide, number one, am I training to learn? Is this a golf swing thing? Number two, am I training to perform? And the likelihood is you need more training to perform. And then, whichever one it is, we have to find a way to inject spacing, variability, and challenge. There you go. They're the three things that I was talking about. The three keys, we finally got there. The three keys to effective practice: spacing, variability, and challenge. So I'm going to go back now that I've given you that energetic pitch to buy into this and believe this. I am going to go back. I'm going to share my screen with you, and we'll go back to the presentation. Normally, I would go into the science of the brain and how we learn, etc. But we don't have enough time, and I don't necessarily think that everyone on this webinar will be interested in that. So we're just going to go, we're going to skip out a few slides, and we're going to go from here. So hopefully you guys can see that. So how do we learn skills? Let's see. Well, how do we learn skills? We have to inject spacing, variability, and challenge. So as I've said, spacing, right? Let's go into this. Key factor number one, spacing. The time between each shot. On the golf range, the likelihood is there's not enough time between each shot. You're going to hit, and then you're going to rake another ball and hit, rake another ball, hit, rake another ball, hit. You can't do that. What you believe potentially is that you need to get reps in and you're building muscle memory. Well, I hate to bust this myth and break this bad news to you, but repetition does not help you learn, not in that form. What we have to do is, yes, we have to get our reps in, but they have to be quality reps with the optimal or correct amount of time between each one. So if you're on the golf range working on your swing, the spacing effect, move the pyramid or the golf balls back 5 or 10 meters or feet, even 3 feet, and take one at a time. Make sure you prepare your shot and make sure that one ball, the total process of hitting that one ball lasts 1 minute. So the first challenge, if you want to add spacing into your practice, and this is scientifically proven to help you learn, you're going to move the balls 3 feet back, 5 feet back, 10 feet back, 10 meters back, however far back you can. You're going to take one ball at a time, and that ball is going to last 1 minute. Because what will happen then, rather than rake, hit, rake, hit, rake, hit, it will be put the ball down, hit, go get the next ball, put the ball down, plan your shot. And now you have to think, oh, that last shot was really good because I felt this. Or that last shot wasn't very good because what I did was I lifted. It's giving you more time to think. It's challenging your brain. It's challenging your memory, and that is how we learn. So guys, no more rake hit. Put the spacing effect into your practice by changing your environment, and make sure you hit 20 balls in 20 minutes. I guarantee that this will help you learn and help you make that swing change stick. Okay, so let's imagine the scenario. We're picking one ball every minute for 20 minutes. Now, variability. After every 5 balls, you have to go hole or putt, or you have to hit a driver as hard as you can, or you have to hit a chip shot. Let's say you have to hit a chip shot inside 10 feet. Once you've achieved that, you can go back to the task that you were doing, hitting the shots, but you're going to change club and you're going to change target. We've added variability. This makes the brain think. So we're going to go one ball, pyramid back, hit, one ball, pyramid back, hit. We're going to do that 5 times. It's going to last 5 minutes. And then we might have to go hole a 6-foot putt, depending where the putting green is. We might have to hit a chip inside 10 feet. Once we've achieved that goal, we come back, we change our target, we change our club, and we get our next 5 balls. Amazing, right? we've added spacing, and we've added variability into our practice. Both of those things have already made your practice more challenging. But the final key, the third key, the final thing we can do to really add challenge into your practice is some self-measuring. So for most club golfers, the key to better golf is hitting the ball in the center of the face. So if you're doing this, maybe you give yourself a point every time you hit the ball in the center of the face. 1 point every time you hit the ball in the center of the face. If you're going to hit 20 balls in 20 minutes, every 5 balls is a little challenge or task between. Ultimately, there's 20 points up for grabs. How many times you hit the ball in the center of the face? Keep your score and see if you can set your world record. Let's say your best ever is 12. You go to the range and your target is 13. Add a reward to that. Because now we're representing a little bit what you're going to face on the golf course. Man, this shot's important. If I do this, I get to hire that movie on Netflix that I've always wanted to watch. If I don't do it, I have to put my phone away for 2 hours and can't communicate with any of my friends. That's my punishment. So, spacing, variability, and challenge. Add them into your practice. When you are on the golf range, I have just given you a great way how to do it. That will help you make the swing change stick. You can, if you want, even do the points. You can award the points for the movements you're trying to make. If you're trying to have a bigger turn on the backswing, if you're trying to start the downswing with the lower body, maybe the challenge comes every time you successfully do that, you award yourself a point. But you've got to get creative with this, guys. In a webinar, I can't do it for you. There are other options after this webinar that I can help you with. You can go online and buy the book. That will give you more information. Golf Practice, How to Take Your Range Game to the Golf Course. Nice book, big yellow cover. Stands out on Amazon where you can buy it from. You could do my online courses and you'll be emailed links for those. And they will walk you through this in a 7-step process. And some of you will have the opportunity to work with me and another award-winning Golf Digest coach who is one of David Ledbetter's right-hand men, works with some amazing tour players and college players. You do have the chance for us to build practice programs for you. Well, that's not for everyone. That just depends on how much you desire to be that longest hitter in your group, how much you desire to put the effort in practice and become that club champion or lower your handicap or be the best player out of the 12 of you that play for the money on a Tuesday. That's up to you. I guess as well, it's how much frustration are you willing to go through before you make that investment. But we're here to help. But that information that I've given you is scientifically proven to help you take your range game to the golf course. Key number 1, spacing. Key number 2, variability. Key number 3, challenge. So we talked about that, training to learn versus training to perform. And this, I'm just going to give you an insight into what I do with some of the high-level collegiate and tour players. We actually set up stations. So let's say you were working on your golf swing. Station 1 could be 3 balls of drill A. Whatever the drill is that you are getting from your PGA professional or whoever's analyzing your swing. And then you would have to go hole a putt. So you would do station 1, you would do a drill, and then you would go hole a putt. And then you would come back and you'd do station 2, and that's a different drill. Might be 3 balls, might be 5 balls, might be 10 balls, depends on your ability level. And then you would go hole a putt. And then station 3, you would do another drill, and then potentially go hole a putt, and then you repeat. And that's going to be how you're going to change your golf swing. Hitting ball after ball after ball isn't going to work. But if you're constantly, remember, variability is key number 2. This creates variability. You're varying your practice drills. It creates space because you've got to go and do a different task between each shot, between each station. Again, that's variability as well. So there's lots of space, lots of variability in there. But ultimately, what happens when you do drill 1, and then you go hole a putt, and then you go drill 2, then you go hole a putt, then you go drill 3. When you're back to the start of the circuit, you're like, your brain is like, oh, how was I successful at this last time? Let's recall that movement. Let's really think. Let's really focus. And guys, that's where the magic happens. That's learning. Your brain is having to recall past successes. You have forgotten what happened in station 1, and you're having to fight to recall it. That's the key to learning. We want to lose the feeling and regain it, not keep the feeling and ingrain it. Keeping the feeling and ingraining it doesn't work, because you don't get to do that on the golf course. You have to lose the feeling and regain it. That's why practicing like this works. And you can see I've got ST, that's sandwich training. That's the drill that I featured on the Golf Channel with Martin Hall that actively changed his swing on live on the Golf Channel. Kinesthetic motor imagery. That's a drill I do with my tour players. Very, very hard drill where you have to close your eyes and feel the body move without moving. And then speed variability testing is the third station here. And that's basically hitting balls at different speeds. 10% speed, can you make that move? 20% speed, can you make that move? And you're just increasing it incrementally to see where this new motion that you want in your golf swing, to see roughly at what speed it's sticking. YouTube, game-like training. That's YouTube, game-like training. There are videos of this circuit and other circuits there for you to watch, and they are listed in the book, Golf Practice, How to Take Your Range Game to the Course. This is what you have to do if you want to make your swing change stick. I gave you a briefer overview of spacing, variability, and challenge and how you can build that. I've now given you insight into a more detailed circuit. But if you want more, it's there in the book, it's there in the online course. And like I said, myself and some other great coaches in my team are there to help you and design you some of these practice circuits that will be optimal for you, because it will be based on your ability. And we can see that if I click to the next slide, this would be an easier circuit, just 2 stations and just 1 break station for performance. So this practice circuit has less spacing, less variability, and less challenge. So the circuit I showed you before might be for a high level player. This might be for a moderate to beginner. Who knows? Everyone's individual. So most people will need some help building this at some point. Let's skip through just some excerpts from the book. And we're gonna quickly breeze through this. I'm not necessarily gonna play these videos. You can find these potentially on my YouTube channel. Again, they're referenced in the book. But now we're talking a little bit more about training to perform. So, training to perform, training to learn that we've just covered, and spacing, variability, and challenge, that's focused on making the swing change stick. Training to learn is now focusing on getting it to transfer. Not much changes. You still need spacing, you still need variability, and you still need challenge. But what you need is, you need it in more of a performance environment. So this is a collegiate level player. I gave him 3 games. And rather than him just play 1 game at a time, he's playing all 3. So he hit shot number 1 from the chipping game. We just saw that. He's now hitting shot number 1 from the iron game. And now what he'll do is he'll go and hit shot number 1 from the 3rd game, which is a different chipping game, which you can see he's about to do. Now, think about it. If you have a normal chipping game, this guy is a very, very good player. He shot 29. Yep, 29 on the back 9 at TPC Sawgrass. So I need to give him as much spacing, variability, and challenge as possible. If he was just to play 1 of these games, he would hit a chip shot, then he would walk and he would hit another chip shot, and then he would walk and he would hit another chip shot. We'd be going around the same green, and he'd have access to information from the previous shot far too quickly and far too easily. So the reason that we get 3 games and we mix all 3 games up is to increase the challenge point and is to increase spacing, variability, and challenge. So if you guys are playing practice games, if you have a favorite putting game, a favorite chipping game, and if you have a favorite maybe driver game, don't play them in isolation. It doesn't give you the opportunity to fully forget the skill and recall the skill back. It doesn't give you the opportunity to make your practice as close to golf as we possibly can. And that is what is going to help with the transfer. So there's some great games out there in books. I've referenced a few in the golf practice book that you can buy on Amazon. Golf Practice, How to Take Your Range Game to the Course. But don't play those games in isolation. You must what we call interleave those games. And again, look, this is an elite player, and this is a presentation that I've shown all over the world to teaching professionals that teach players of this ability. If this isn't you, don't worry. You can go and you can do the online courses, you can get the book, or you can contact us, and we can help you build these challenges so that they are correct for you. So we're going to skip on to the next slide. So now, guys, again, this is performance practice, so training to transfer. All I'm going to do here is I'm going to send you to the YouTube channel. If you go to Game Like Training, that's Game Like Training, G-A-M-E space L-I-K-E space T-R-A-I-N-I-N-G, Game Like Training on YouTube. We have built these games for you. There's also, we have a downloadable PDF that builds these games, but these are high stress games that you can do on the golf range that will help you transfer your best game to the golf course. Again, training to perform, deal with stress. So the goal here is to complete each grid. You have to, grid number 1, the top left, as you can see, you have to hit a driver into a 45-yard wide fairway, a 9-iron into 10 feet of your target, and you have to hold a 3-foot putt. Now, if you're a 15 handicapper, you might want to change that. You might want to make the 9-iron 30 feet. That's fine. Again, I work with collegiate and tour level players. I do club clinics. Whenever I do club clinics, when I'm on a road show, I will change this. So if you know how to build grid 1 for yourself, what should your 9-iron be? Great, change it. If you don't, you have the option to work with myself or my team, and we can help you build a practice plan, a month's practice plan that is going to help you make those swing changes stick and transfer your best game to the golf course. So you can see once you've completed grid 1, you would go into grid 2, and you have to complete these in succession. So for me to get out of grid 1, I would do driver into a 45-yard fairway, boom, pass. 9-iron for me, I would do 20 feet. Beautiful, hit it to 17 feet. Go hold a 3-footer. I would hold that most of the time. Cool, grid 1's done. If I miss the 3-footer, oh no, have to start grid 1 again. And it's like that until you complete all 4 grids, and you can put a time limit on yourself. So again, the golf practice book, my YouTube channel, the online courses, or personal training with me, helping you make your swing change stick and transfer to the course, will give you more insight here. YouTube for golf practice challenges on the golf course. So Game Like Training YouTube, I'm going to give you an insight, and then we are going to end, guys. The webinar is coming to a close. So have a think what's resonated with you. Do you need to train to learn with circuits? Do you need the 20 balls in 20 minutes with little variations? Do you need training to perform the games, taking many games and interweaving them? Do you need the golf outs of the day that I've just showed you, the stress tests for the range? Or are you fortunate enough where you're at a golf course and you can get on the golf course and do a 9-hole challenge like this. Because this is it. This is really, if you have the time and the ability to do what I'm about to show you, it will absolutely help you lower your golf scores. It will help you relax and enjoy playing this game. It will help you be the longest driver in your foursome. It will help you take the money week in, week out. It will definitely help you. So I'm going to play you this. And again, guys, I know we're talking about an ideal world. Some of you won't be able to get on the golf course. Some of you, the walk from the hitting bays to the putting green will be too far. I get that. And that's why we're here to help. We can help you. We can even help you if you are going to practice just at home for 10 minutes a day. It's not about it being perfect. It's about us being able to fit spacing, variability, and challenge into your environment. It's what you need. So, last video of the day, and then we'll close this webinar. I hope it's added some value. I hope it's fired you up for practicing golf more effectively. On-course challenge, the Eliminator. During this on-course task, a player will choose the side of the hole they want to eliminate for the tee shot. In this instance, the player has chosen to eliminate the left side. Any ball that lands to the left of the fairway will be given a 2-stroke penalty. The player will then play an approach shot, selecting which side of the flag they want to eliminate. In this instance, the player has chosen to eliminate the right side of the flag. Any ball that lands to the right side of the flag will be given a 2-stroke penalty. Once the approach shot has been hit, the player should continue to play as normal from around the green, attempting to shoot the lowest score that they can. So, there we go, guys. YouTube for more videos like that. I think there's about 7 or 8 on-course challenges that you can play on there. But ultimately, what did you come on this webinar for? To learn how to practice? Great. Spacing, variability, and challenge, and injecting them into training to learn or training to perform. So when you turn up to the golf course, are you training to learn? Are you training to perform? And make sure you inject the 3 key ingredients: spacing, variability, and challenge into either one of those environments. And that will help you make swing changes stick and transfer to the golf course. So that's what. How did we do it? Well, we did a webinar, and I presented information that I presented all over the world to tour players, to PGA qualified coaches, some of the best qualified coaches in the world, information that I've produced in a book, and information that I coach to some of the best golfers and athletes in other sports sometimes in the world. So that's how we did it. And why? Why did we do it? Well, I did it because I want to help you. I don't want you to make the same mistakes I made when I played rugby and when I was practicing golf. My journey over the last decade has been amazing. I've spent time with some of the world's best coaches, some of the world's best professors, and all I've done is taken their knowledge and made it into a nice framework for you so that you don't have to go through the stresses that I went through. Now, what are your stresses? What are you trying to move away from? Are you trying to not be anxious on the golf course? Are you trying to relax and enjoy this great game? Are you trying to shoot lower scores? Do you want to win your club championship? Are you a pro? Do you want to take your game to the next level? And look, if you do, and you got all the information you needed from this webinar, awesome. Good luck to you. Send me an email when you reach your goals and dreams, and I will feel great. Now, that's going to be fine for some of you. Some of you will be super self-starters, self-motivated, off you go. But for those of you that aren't, go onto Amazon and grab the book, Golf Practice, How to Take Your Range Game to the Course. It's a great complement to this webinar. If you want more, I do have online courses. You will be emailed the links for the online courses after this webinar, but you can join our Golf Mastery Tribe, and you can look at 7 steps to perfecting your golf swing, 7 days to mastering your mental game, 7 steps to holding more putts. All things that take the framework of spacing, variability, and challenge and help you inject them into your practice. And finally, as I've said, we want to help. So over the last decade, myself and my team, we've helped tour players, collegiate athletes, high school players all jump to the next level. We started to do a lot of club clinics. People used to invite us into their clubs and ask us to support and help. And that's what we're doing. And we're booked. We've got a great roadshow coming up. And we started to love to help club golfers. So that's why we put our super monthly offer together at the most affordable cost that we could to help you. So if you want to join, if you want to be part of the team, do a goal setting session with me, have practice plans written by me, have a golf digest, top young coach and right hand man to David Ledbetter, a guy who's helped so many pros and collegiate players alter their golf swings, and with me complementing his work through effective practice programs. If that's something you desire, then sign up. Sign up for the ultimate package. Get a goal setting session from me. Get 2 practice programs from me. 2 swing analysis from Zach Parker. Get access to us in your own personal private training space. Get over 20 golf range challenges. Get over 20 on-course challenges designed for you and your golf needs. Get circuits and indoor practice challenges developed so that ultimately you can move away from frustration to fulfillment by making swing changes stick and transferring your range game to the golf course. Hope you enjoyed this webinar. Hope it add value to your day. Go out, play some golf, inject spacing, variability, and challenge into your practice. And I promise, over time, you will get the results that you desire. Thanks, guys. Have an amazing day.